All right. Welcome to episode 3 of Surviving Barstool, the after show. We got Jeff D Lowe on. Feidelberg is joining momentarily. We are down now to the final 4. We had a electric final vote there with our first tie, and a lot to take in the friends and family episode. Jeff, you are a very big fan of these type of shows, vote off shows, if you will. Give me your first couple thoughts on what you've seen so far, episodes 1 and 2 leading up to this, and what you think of today's.
First, hold on. I broke my mic minutes before this, by the way. Fantastic move on my part. The Grace singing thing is going to be probably what we talk about most.
Yeah.
Before let's cut to that before we even do your overview. There he is, Johnny. You having yourself a night, huh?
Oh my God, dude.
Wait,
I don't want to interrupt the Grace thing. The Grace thing was crazy.
When you wish upon a star. I mean, that was.
Wait, hold on. Nick Hamilton said that you couldn't get this to work. Did you drop ice cream on your computer and your computer wasn't working?
No, I just logged in and it said you didn't have a microphone or camera. And I forgot I wasn't wearing a shirt, if we're being totally honest. but we're in the mix now.
The only thing more ridiculous than Grace getting caught in the middle of a lie and just proceeding to sing When You Wish Upon a Star is that producer Logan emailed us saying that Grace sings a song in the middle of it, so be careful. You might want to run it through a burner. So I don't know what's more ridiculous, that or Grace. But
I mean, that I can't decide if it's the dumbest thing. And I think this about a lot of plays that happen tonight. I can't decide if they're dumb or genius. Like, I don't know. I think I need to get caught in a lie one day and just start singing that and see what happens.
Very Costanzonian, if you will. Like, Jerry, I just started to sing. And he's like, what do you mean you started to sing? He's like, I just started to sing. And then, I got out of the lie.
And then they just kept demanding. They're like, Grace, talk. And she just
wouldn't do it.
No,
it's part of your key. If you really are that bad of a liar, if you know that about yourself, it's probably better to just be like, I'm not going to say anything. I think the craziest thing, Jeff, was that she was literally just talking to Caroline and Jackie and waited like 1 second to say, Jackie, come here. I'm going with the boys. Like, send a text message. Wait any more than 1 second. Like, it could have been avoided entirely.
She was very. We'll pull the curtain back as best we can without obviously spoiling things, but. Around the office, like if you were around the office that week, which obviously all 3 of us were, Grace was out of her fucking mind. This was not for camera.
No.
Like, I mean,
no.
She was freaking the fuck out at every. Like, I'd walk in the morning freaking out. You'd walk in the afternoon freaking. Like, there'd be no cameras around. She'd be losing her mind. I think the key with the song was she kept singing. I think if you only go 2 lines, then I think she might have gotten voted out.
It comes back around again, like I could see a scenario now where within the Barstool world, if you're ever pressed, you start singing,
It's the new check the timestamps, bro.
Yeah. Like I hope who's like who's like the biggest Barstool athlete these days? I want to hear him like on the podium one day in a post-game press conference getting grilled, and he just starts going, when you wish upon a star. It was even before the singing. What did she say right before that? She was just like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
he was like, that was shady.
It was actually very fucking offensive of Caroline to describe that as a Boston accent. It wasn't. It was gibberish.
No,
it was pure gibberish. She didn't say a word. She didn't drop an R. She just fucking swallowed her tongue.
And that is her tell, though. Her tell is when she gets the accent and the voice, it's the high talking thing. It's like, no, is that Curb, I think? But when she does that, there's some, like, she's incredibly anxious and something's wrong. But it worked because I think it gave Caroline an incredibly false sense of confidence. She was still worried, but I think she's fucking crazy. She's definitely going home.
Yeah. Yo, I keep repeating myself, but if you are a listener of KFC Radio or work on KFC Radio, you know that Jackie is the queen of putting her foot in her mouth and continue to dig herself a hole and not being able to get out of situations and not being able to lie. Grace made Jackie look like fucking, Jason Bourne out there or something. It was even Jackie was like, wait, why are you singing a song? What the fuck?
I had said, I think on the rundown today, I had said that like Jackie lying to Kim on last night's episode was so heartbreaking and also such a bad lie.
Yeah.
Kim was like, I feel like you're sending me home. And Jackie was like, no.
You're good.
And I was like, we're not going to see a worse lie than that. And then maybe we did. Again, I don't have the jury's out on this fucking thing. Grace is in the game, right? So
true. The only thing that I think I would need a confessional from previously of Grace saying, if I ever get caught, I'm going to just start singing fucking Pinocchio. And then maybe I could give her points for it. Otherwise, I think for me, the jury is out. My jury has spoken. She is the worst liar of all time. And Logan saying we're not going to be able to put that on YouTube because she's singing a song, Be Careful, is utterly ridiculous.
I hope to fuck we get sued by Disney or whatever label owns that.
YouTube picked up and they were like, you're demonetized because someone sung When You Wish Upon a Star.
Disney's lawyers, would they be like, we don't want to associate with it? Let them.
Yeah,
have
like
it.
we need this
if
off
we
the
put
internet.
a copyright on it, we claim it. No, yeah.
All right. So, let's see the other highlights.
I want to real quick take umbrage with the producers because the game didn't seem to last very long.
Oh, that wasn't my issue at all.
We were there for.
I think we were there for 3 hours. I think we played fucking Planko and fucking the other thing for 3
ring
plus
toss took. I think it went 10:30 to 1.
I think it went 10:30 to 1:30, bro.
Yeah,
they didn't show our first 3 putt. You, me, and Tommy made the first 3. They cut us out.
Yeah, and I get it because you can't have a 2-hour show of just people missing ring tosses. What I didn't appreciate is they didn't let Jackie have her moment when she genuinely asked for a redo.
No,
it was in there, but
it was in there.
Of like she was like, wait, no, I need a redo. Why would that be a thing, Jackie? She's like, people were talking. No, Jackie, it's a $10,000 competition. You missed. You don't get to go do a redo.
It wasn't even really in the moment. Like she was like back to her seat and was like, I'll throw it out there. Can I go again?
She wouldn't turn to camera either. And that was an issue for like a good 10 combined minutes of the challenge. They kept saying, hey, square up to camera. We can't see you. And then there was one point where she just went full back turned. And they're like, what the? Like, I actually somebody said, we were like, are we being like myself, Nick, Brie, we're like, are we being fucking pranked right now? Like, what is happening?
I promise you,
what are we doing over here?
Jackie Nichols does not know what square up to camera means.
No shot. That was not a prank. That was very, very real. Also, they didn't really include it. People were not happy with the Z's in the middle of the sticks.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, Logan.
That's a bad complaint though.
And then Grace hit one of the Z's and it didn't count. And then they didn't include this in the edit, I don't think. If you hit a Z in overtime, it was worth 2 points. That was like a twist of a turn. And Grace was like, well, where the fuck was that when I was playing? So that was funny. Also, I believe, if we're not mistaken, this is just maybe we can release a director's cut. We all said the Our Father during this episode.
Oh yeah.
There was a moment.
Played a much bigger part in that challenge than I thought.
that might have gotten the video demonetized. I don't know.
we might need to put that out on like Truth Social or some of the wacky fucking platforms out there because Caroline stepped up. I believe this is how it went. Caroline stepped up and I said I said something like, "Did you pray to God or do you believe in God or?" Something like that, and she missed badly. And I said, well, that's because you're not a Catholic. Something like at one point there was a line where I was like, well, that's because you're not a Catholic. And then it was like, well, this time I am going to pray to God. However it unfolded, all I know is all of a sudden, all the friends and family, all the contestants, and myself did a full-blown Our Father on the set of some fucking Surviving Barstool. It was wild.
Not all. I didn't.
You didn't.
I don't know why I didn't. I refused.
I think it was in protest. Yeah.
I think she's like, I don't know. I felt like the prayer was for her, and I was Team Jackie and remain Team Jackie. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not gonna fucking make this voice request to God any louder. That was so weird. When you think about it, I just want to put that out one day. Maybe let this simmer for a while. Let some months and years pass,
and then just drop a clip out of nowhere, no context. All of the Barstool crew just doing the fodder.
I feel like the whole office got into it.
It was kind of an electric moment where it was like one person started. It was like, I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. All of a sudden, everybody was like, thy womb, Jesus. The other thing behind the scenes, the contestants could not comprehend give and take. You drop the plate, go down. And if you got give, that means you give the rings to someone else. And that meant you had to either pick someone who you thought was bad, or you wanted to give it to someone who you wanted to win, or whatever. And take means you take the shot. And we had to explain that group-wise, and then I had to explain it individually to like everybody like 5 times. It was like, I don't know how else to say this to you guys. There's only one. I've said
the rule portion took quite some time, to the point where you were like, look, you'll get it when we start.
Like, once we start
if you watch the episode, which I'm assuming you have watching this, it's a very basic game.
It's so straightforward. You shoot, and it's a good thing, or you have to give it to someone else, and that's a bad thing. That's it. It was crazy.
Some of these, like, every now and then, like some of these challenges, whether it's this show, Barstool America, Dangerous Game Show, like when you're on set in your role in this one as a host, you explain it and you're kind of like, hey, just hold on. I know it's a lot. This was not
off camera. We'll do in a second. Yeah,
this was so it's a puck 3 take. It's always, and they just, that's again, I think that's actually when we said, are we being punked? Like, wait, how do they not get this? How do they not get this?
I remember Jackie, that's the math is not her, or numbers, and well, nothing's really Jackie's strong suit, but she was really struggling with that one. So yeah, also I think right around this point, speaking of contestants and non-contestants, if you will, right about now was when the camera crew and the audience of Barstool, people who stayed late at night to watch, and myself, were all kind of getting like, there wasn't much like gameplay and backstabbing going on that we knew of. We all kind of felt like they botched there could have been a 4-girl alliance that could have beat the boys. They weren't looking for the ring. They all just said, well, Caroline has the ring, so nobody looked for it. So we were at a point in the middle of the week where it was like, they're not trying for immunity. They're not really like, and to be fair, they were doing more gameplay than I was giving them credit for, because I didn't know about some of it. But it was like, you're not looking for the ring. You're not doing any gameplay. And you're not talking about anything. They were so tight-lipped, and they should be, but I was like trying to poke and prod and ask leading questions. But so halfway through the week, we were like, this is nothing. We got to, like, something needs to happen here. But we did get the tie in the vote. But I mean, Jeff, I know, I think you were part of the crew watching it, kind of being like, what is going on here? Does this crew, when is like the Survivor begin?
Caroline is the first person in the history of any show with an immunity ring or idol or something. Not the one that you win with the challenge, like the hidden one. First person to ever get eliminated because they didn't look for it.
Right.
Usually you're paranoid about looking for it and you sneak off, you go in the bushes, and that's when you get caught and they're like, that fucking guy went to look for it, they're out. She didn't. She didn't do it. She's got to go. It's like, why? Why?
What is the reasoning behind eliminating someone because you think they have it? Wouldn't they just play it?
Doesn't always make it the case. It's just the idea that, like, oh, if they're sneaking off and looking for it, that means that's one layer of their game that is secretive. Maybe they have more layers, and so it's a paranoid play.
But I'm saying for this group eliminating the person they thought had it.
That was just.
But that was why. So I think Che basically had said at one point, they were saying if she plays it.
They had another plan in place.
Yeah, they had another plan.
Which is why they split the votes. They split the votes with the idea that she would have it, and if she had it and played it, because obviously she would have played it after they voted, and then Grace would have been gone. In theory, had Caroline had it and played it. So, like, their vote splitting made sense if, like, they thought she had it, but the reason they thought she had it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. They're like, she not only have it.
They just gave up. They were just like, oh, she went to bed, so I'm going to go to bed too. And also, I'll say this. In one of the montages in the earlier episodes, I think it is Caroline, dangerously close to finding it. Like, looking back at it. It was like
I'll remain. Yeah.
It's great. Very close in one of the edits. I was like, oh shit. So
people are like walking over it. Yeah, but
yeah. So Tommy was on the after show last night, saying, or 2 nights ago, he found the clues and the idol like right away by night 1. At this point, we're going into the final 4, day 4 or whatever. No idol.
On the after show last night, we were talking about how I forget the one that like Jackie knew about. We read in the office, and I was like, oh, I'd get that right away. And then the one on last night's episode, I would not know where to look. The one on last night's episode
what it was again. I don't want to speak out of which one.
It was the one that ends in sinner, and it's like, and I was like, I wouldn't know. I forget what the full thing is. I just know it. Sinner seemed to be the big clue.
There's a point, and actually it was kind of this episode where I said, I don't even care about clues at this point. They've turned over everything. But yeah, so.
Well, and in their defense, another year's worth of shit and people and desks. Like this was hidden in a different type of spot. I think, again, right around now is when there was a divide between contestants and non-contestants where we were like, why the fuck aren't you doing this, this, and this? And they were like, shut the fuck up. You're not even in the games, you assholes. You had like cameramen and producers kind of like snickering or being like, what? And because this isn't a crew of like professional reality TV show viewers who know this game. Not a crew of like big time alliances. They're all tight-lipped, which I understand, but it's also like at some point I was like, we're doing a show here, guys. We gotta do. I mean, there was like 5 questions in a row at one point where they would just go, no, I don't know. It's like, oh my God, somebody's got to talk to me about something here. But it was getting tense at that point. I think they were very sick of hearing about, because I know I pushed it. I kept saying, if you girls just stuck together, you're gonna pick them all off, and then you deal with that, when you have to. And they were at the point where they were like, stop fucking talking about the genders. Like, we don't see the genders. We didn't see any contestant. It was very woke. It was very like, we don't see genders. And I guess I get that, but it's just like, that's also a natural thing that occurs in these situations where you could vote.
I imagine that when the show like on real reality shows, not that these aren't real, they have become officially real, but they make it even, right? So that can't happen.
No, I mean, not always, because numbers will go a certain way. There's a very famous old Survivor all-female alliance by one of the greatest players. Like, she led it, Parb. But it's happened.
I don't think it's again. This is so different because it's people that you know and work with. Mm-hmm. So you're naturally like, guys are friends with guys and girls are friends with girls. So coming in, you guys, even though they weren't all best friends, it's like you're the girls in the office. And it just would have been, an easier way to ensure. But at the same time, I think Jackie in one of her confessionals was kind of like, I thought the guys were stronger contestants. Yeah. So if I can align with them. Now let's talk about Jackie fights, because I always bust her balls and say how dopey she is. But our girl was wheeling and dealing today.
Was she? Or did she just fall ass backwards into it? I think she just fell into it.
And that is Jackie as well. Like,
I saw Mad Dog, producer on Macrodosing, tweeted like, I can't tell if Jackie's 200 IQ or 0 IQ. And I was like, welcome to the Jackie experience, dude.
You never know, dude. She's a nervous climber. She's a babbler, but I think she's kind of in this middle zone of like, I'm with the guys and they seem to trust me.
Which, by the way, I give her credit for her explanation as to why she joined the guys.
Yeah,
that made sense to me. But she was if I turn down their offer, they vote me out.
Right. And then that was very well explained to the girls in such a way that they didn't turn around like, well, fuck you. You were like working against us the whole time. They were like, oh, okay, I understand it. So she's kind of like one foot in each world right now. And I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but she's doing it. So,
yeah, I think it was like they cut to a confessional of her after, who was it? Like, I think Rudy or Eddie said she was so convincing. and it's because she was being honest. Like,
yes.
Rudy was like, I thought like she deserves an Oscar or whatever, and she's like, no, I was just really telling the truth.
Yeah. But that's where, I mean, she's showing me more than I ever expected.
She made a good move, and I will say tonight was a night that we eliminating Kim in the second episode was a very foolish move for a few people, and you saw one of those people end up having come bite them in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And Caroline, probably Grace, they should have taken, and you know who's saying this too? Kim's own daughter. Alex she wasn't influencing the contestants, but she's off camera like these people are idiots. She's like, my mom has no fucking clue what she's doing. Drag her to the end. Drag her to the end. She's basically a human shield. Like, you just drag her to the end, and then you can eliminate her a little beforehand. But like, they made a very easy, safe move yesterday, and people like Caroline, who just got eliminated, and Grace, that could have been the move to like take Kim and eliminate someone else, but they made the easy move and right on their back.
3 things with that. One, I think that they wanted an easy night. I think they didn't want to vote like just have like a hard deliberation and make a hard choice. Kim is kind of a little bit of the odd man out. She doesn't live here. She's a little bit older. Like, let's just vote her out. 2, right place, right time by O'Malley. She walked in when Eddie last episode said, why don't we just get Grace out instead? And Jackie said something like, I know this is going to sound so weak, but I don't want to, like, I need you to talk about Grace. And before she could even do it, the door opened. It was Grace. And they all just kind of said, like, fuck it. Let's just stick with the plan of Kim. If Grace doesn't walk through that door, I don't think she's safe, And then the third thing, I don't think that we had many super fans who really grasped the concept of bringing a weaker person with you.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, and I think I talked to Tommy about this. Normally, in the beginning of Survivor, the easy votes do happen, but that's different because there's well over a dozen people. We're only working with 8 people,
right?
So it's early in the game, but it really isn't. The game's almost over. It's like you have that early, like, all right, let's feel it out mindset. But you really shouldn't. And I hope the next time this is done, early on in the first, second episode, somebody sees that opportunity and is like, no, we got to grab that person who we all say we're voting out, and we got to cut someone's head off right now. Because that should have been the move last night, but obviously they, like you said, they wanted to feel safe, and that wasn't worth it, obviously,
did
for
Caroline. Did not play out.
You mentioned earlier, I do have to give another tip of the cap to Grace, because Grace plays this game exactly how I would play.
You know what I was going to say? There was a chance, by the way, John, you can talk to this, speak on this. We were looking for a last contestant. We had seven signed up, and they came to me and they said, what about Feidelberg? And I was like, I don't know. I certainly know he can sleep in the office. Yeah, that won't be a problem. He can sleep anywhere.
Well, Kevin, that brings us to why I'm shirtless. It's the reason I considered doing it is because I don't have air conditioning.
Right. He just needed a place that was cool enough.
That's why I'm shirtless eating ice cream right now.
Trying to stay cool.
You don't even like ice cream. You just want to be cold.
I also thought it would have been funny to have the first ever moment where someone goes in the office, the lights are dim, and you get out your marker, and he just writes down his own fucking name and says, I don't give a shit. Let me get out of it. Because then how funny would it be? I really would have loved it if John was like in the first episode, made some promises, and then voted for himself, but not enough to vote himself off, just enough to have the people he made alliances with doing the math going, wait a minute. Wait, who the fuck voted? How did that happen? Because nobody would think that John would vote for himself. It's kind of like O'Malley singing. Maybe it actually would work.
But she did it last night where she just announced, she's like, don't pick me for the mattress firm room suite. I snore. Like, I don't, because I would make an enemy there. I'd be like, no, don't take me. You're going to fucking hate me.
I hate me.
And then today when she just sat down, crisscross applesauce and goes, I'm just here to beg. And she's like,
yeah, I'll give you whatever I want. You guys
don't eliminate me. I don't know.
I tuned in to Rudy's stream. Rudy is streaming the episode and commenting on it.
Oh, wow.
Talking with the chat. And I tuned in right when Grace sat down. And Rudy's doing like a Peyton Manning game film breakdown. He's like, you see right here, this was a beta move. And the second she did that, we had her. He was just destroying her. He had a complete takedown of Grace. Like, the second she sat down, we knew it was over.
That's what she said. She's like, She's like, with all you looking down on me, yes, I will give you my vote for whatever.
One of the more just mean, shitty thing to do was Stephen Che telling Caroline, "You barely won Barstool Idol," and he tweeted. I said literally just no reason to do that to her, and he tweeted me back. I'll read it verbatim because I think that Che thought that was some like mastermind move when it was like, you just fucking torpedoed this girl's self-confidence for really no, like at work, not in the game, at work. He goes, wait, where? Yeah, literally no zero. Okay, so he says to me, "Wrong, KFC. I realized I made a mistake and should have taken her to the suite with Caroline. With Rudy in there, I needed to distract her from the game. That was the ticket, and it worked. Big brain moves only on Surviving Barstool." Like the fact, like if Caroline went into the final vote being like, I was ready to like compete, but I couldn't because Stephen Che infiltrated my brain mentally, I would give it to him. But really that had no play and no effect on anything and just fucked with that girl for no reason.
Yeah, that's a classic Che move, and that's a classic villain move, which is why I like Che. Everything Che does irks me, and I love it.
Yeah, he's a robot. I mean, he's an asshole robot. He said that today. He said, "Bada bing, bada boom, the smartest guy in the room." And then he said, like that conversation back there, like made me puke, made me throw up a little bit. But what you realize after a couple days is you like the taste of that throw up or something like that. It was just like, what are we doing, Che?
Way too brash in front of everybody too.
This
like
was
Tommy will turtle up. And then on confessionals, you see his arrogance, you see his confidence. Che just lets it fly around the off camera.
I don't know if that's just the bravado or a touch of the tism where he just doesn't even realize how he's coming across.
I said he was both equally through 3 episodes. I just checked when I said because I think they were on Grit Week, and I texted this through 3 episodes. Through this episode, I texted Big Cat and I said, Che is somehow the absolute best player at this game, yet at the same time, the complete worst player at this game. You're like, he says one thing, you're like, pretty good. And then something else, like, why are you even speaking right now? What are you doing to yourself?
Dude, right after, I forgot about this until you just said something that jogged my memory. But right after the 3-hour challenge, when everyone had to rush to the bathrooms to piss because we've been holding it in, me and Che ended up in the men's room. Actually, this might have been later in the day. It was that day. And we're both taking a piss. And Che just goes, "Your girl, Jackie, really good. She's the front runner." And I was like, really? Like, that's not what I've heard. And he's like, "Oh, no. She's the front runner." I was like, "Che, are you playing me?" Right
I guarantee. If
I don't have a vote in this.
He'll be like, totally. I was using Feidelberg as my mule to go back and tell Jack that. I guarantee you, he did that and thought like, this is it. I played all of KFC radio.
I'll tell you what, I was smart enough to not tell anybody until right now. So
I know for a fact after that display. I mean, he said flat out, "I'm the smartest person in this game," right? He said, "I don't think it, I know it. I'm the smartest player in the game. You're all playing checkers. I'm playing chess. Bada bing, bada boom, the smartest guy in the room." So I that was another thing up until this episode or maybe tomorrow. I was often saying to them at Tribal, there's no villain, there's no Tommy. And now we've definitely established Che as like the I don't know, villain.
For the viewer, that happened episode 1.
Well, yeah. There was signals all along, but yeah, I mean, Stephen Che's the asshole. And then we saw Caroline get the boot. I mean, final.
It is, dude. It's fucking you people who love reality TV. You're fucking sickos, man. It's sad. Granted, we have a little bit more of an emotional connection with these people, although not really with Caroline. Like, it's sad watching these people get eliminated.
Oh yeah.
No,
very.
I cannot imagine if this was a full 39 days or whatever the other television shows do. If you're actually in the outdoors, and it's a month and a week of getting to know everybody. Like, this shit got intense so fast, so quick. And I do think the X Factor, what really does, I think, separate it, even in like from the classic shows in a better way, is the fact that these guys know each other. But it really quickly, it's intense right off the bat. And if they had almost 2 months of doing this, they would have lost their minds by the end of it, no doubt.
We talked about this before this started, Kevin. Like, I know when we released the cast, we were like, wait, what's like some of these are producers, we don't know these people. And I think it was the perfect mix of they're not great friends, but they're not strangers. They know each other just enough. As a couple of them know each other well. The Chays, the Eddies, and Rude. Like, enough well where it's gonna get this really weird dynamic we haven't had in one of these shows yet. And I think you've seen that, because I think fans have loved it so far for that. They're like, wait, this crew like works really well together. It's less about like the
serendipitous hodgepodge. You don't know, like, if it was like Chief and Eddie were on it, be like, all right, well, we know these two guys are doing that. You don't really know. Speaking of the big gameplay move thus far had been Eddie. I don't even know if he was in this episode. I mean, it was a very quiet episode from Eddie. Rudy, was competing in overtime down to the wire with Che. Other than that, he was relatively quiet, but nothing really from Eddie on this episode.
In the dark, Eddie. It's a quiet player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a line at all. I'm trying to think.
So now final four: Che, Eddie, Jackie, Rude Boy, and 5, and Grace, right?
Yep.
I tweeted this out saying final four. I miscounted. So we still have Grace. So now it's a 3-2 edge with those guys and versus Jackie and Grace. What are you expecting going into that, Jeff?
I'm excited to see the mindset, because leaving this episode, because we would sit off set, we'd talk in the morning and everything, and like just kind of give ideas, like our producers, yourself. And I think we were like, all right, so clearly Grace knows she's in the chopping block. Where does Jackie stand? Because like she's not in the middle, but she's kind of towed the line being in the middle. Rudy's so close to winning some of these challenges
every time.
Eddie quiet, and Che not lurking. Like, Che is the man. Like, he thinks he's running the game. It's this weird dynamic. But I'm curious where a couple of them stood. So I don't know. It's like someone has to make a power play going into next episode, unless they just want Che to keep thinking he's the king. That's kind of like that's the way the scales tip. It's like very heavy Che over here. Others are with him, but everyone else, someone's gonna have to make a move. So it's Grace. Yeah. I don't know.
I tried a couple times, asking leading questions about, was that sweep of a vote for Kim, and was this Caroline situation orchestrated? I mean, of course it's orchestrated. Obviously these things get planned, but I was trying to get somebody to speak up on this Che dynamic. And I don't know if it's if it made the cut or if it's maybe further episodes. It seems like a lot of people were kind of content to let Che be their daddy and make some of these decisions. But that's how, you got to start to make moves at some point. So I think this was a little bit of a lull in the gameplay, or not the gameplay, but the shadiness of it all. Except for our girl Grace, she tried to be shady and just
somehow survived.
But I mean, and so you know what? The jury was out. You're right, Feidelberg. If you survive that episode, if you survive the episode in which you get caught lying and sing the Pinocchio song or the Cinderella song or whichever one it is, it was a good move. It's a good move.
Yeah.
You didn't go home that day. It's a good move.
She could have, if she spoke words, she could have said something that made Jackie go, whatever, never mind, fuck that.
Yep.
And she didn't. She sang.
Yeah, Grace was such a basket case. There was a chance that she could have said, fuck it, you know what? You're right, I'm being shady. I fucked up. I deserve to lose. You guys should vote for me tonight. I'm sorry. There's every chance of that.
If you've watched Grace, that's not out of the question.
Not at all. If considering what was in the question, what was done, everything was on the table. She could have easily put the knife in her own back, and instead she just said, "Yep, that was shady," and then went and then went into a full song. I almost liked it better when she was just making noises. Unbelievable. O'Malley, an all-time moment. For me, it's like I would say third place tonight is Jackie either masterminding or completely like brain farting for 3. The silver medal I give to Che for being this smug, cocky asshole, which is either going to go one way or the other for him. And then the gold medal, Grace singing "When You Wish Upon a Star."
I think that's a strong.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah,
it's that will be how this episode is remembered. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and that's tomorrow is the penultimate episode. That's the good thing about Surviving Barstool here. We keep it moving. You get to binge it every night. So we'll be back same time, same place for Surviving Barstool, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Any last words, Jeff D Lowe?
I stay tuned. That's all. Like there's some really great shit ahead.
Fireworks.
This, if you've liked it so far, you'll like it. What a cast of characters. What an absolute.
I keep saying that. I've been transparent the whole time. I saw some tweets of people being like, I don't know about this cast. And what ended up happening.
And keep in mind, my tease is just the shit that we've seen. I never saw the singing thing. So
right. Yeah. That was the first time I saw that too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like if I had known about stuff like that, tweeting coming into it, I would have been like, this is the greatest fucking season of anything you're ever going to watch. So who knows what else the producers have up their sleeves. We'll find out tomorrow. Episode 4 will be on the Barstool Sports YouTube or barstoolsports.com. Episode 4 of the Surviving Barstool After Show will be on the KFC Radio YouTube. And we'll see you guys for both mañana.
Team Jack.
Team Jackie.